How did one normal workday end with me being handed divorce papers in a bright office lobby? Why did my husband stand there calm while I shook and everyone watched me read the temporary rules? What do you do when the person you mocked turns out to be the only one acting serious and lawful? My name is Padita Lane. I was 33, and I worked in HR at a software company. People like to say HR was about rules, but for me it was about control. If I could shape the story, I could shape the outcome. That was always my plan, even before I admitted it to myself. Ethan was my husband. He was 35 and worked in operations. He traveled for work, sometimes for 3 days, sometimes for a full week. He always acted like the travel was a sacrifice for our family. I used to nod and say I understood, but inside, I felt like he enjoyed it. He got quiet hotel rooms, clean sheets, and dinners alone where nobody asked him for anything. Meanwhile, I had 2 kids, a job, and a house that never stayed clean for more than 10 minutes. That morning, he was packing in our bedroom, folding shirts the way he always did, too neat and too slow. I stood in the doorway with my coffee and watched him like I was a manager watching a worker. He asked if I was upset. I said I was fine. He asked why my voice sounded sharp. I said he always imagined problems. He said he wanted to start the trip on a good note. I said a good note would be him not acting like I was a project that needed managing. He tried to smile, but it looked forced. He said he knew I carried a lot and he appreciated it. I said, appreciation did not help me sleep. He asked what he could do. I told him he could stop leaving. I said it like a joke, but I wanted it to hit him. He asked if I meant it. I said, I meant that I was tired of being alone in the work of our life. Ethan moved his suitcase to the hallway. In the mirror on the closet door, I could see my face. I looked calm. I looked like the patient one. That mattered to me. I did not want to look guilty, even then. We went down to the kitchen. The kids were eating cereal, and the TV was on low. Noah asked if Dad would bring him a toy from the airport shop. Ethan said he would try. Mia asked if Dad would read her a book right now. Ethan said he had to leave soon, but he could do 1 page. I watched him kneel by her chair and read the page. It was sweet, but it also annoyed me. It was like he wanted to show me he was good. I did not like that, because it made my own anger look unreasonable. When he finished, he stood and asked if I wanted to talk for 5 minutes before he left. He asked if we were okay. I said we were fine. He asked why I kept saying fine, like it meant no. I said he was exhausting. I said he asked too many questions. He said he was asking because he cared. I said caring was not the same as listening. He asked what I needed. I said I needed him to stop acting like I was about to break. He looked at me for a long moment. Then he said he would call at night, like always. I said he did not have to call if he was busy. I wanted him to feel that distance. I wanted him to think I did not need him. In my head, that was strength. In my head, needing someone was weak. At the driveway, his rideshare arrived. The driver waited with the trunk open. Ethan hugged the kids and told them to listen to me. He asked Noah to help me with little things. Noah nodded like he understood too much for his age. Ethan looked at me and asked if I wanted a hug too. I paused, just long enough to make him feel awkward. Then I let him hug me. I kept my arms loose. He asked if I was mad. I said I was not mad, just tired. He said he loved me. I said I loved him too, but I said it like a line I had already practiced. When the car pulled away, I stood with my arms crossed and watched it go. I told myself I felt relief because I deserved rest. I told myself I was a good wife because I stayed home and held things together. I did not tell myself the truth, which was that I liked the space because it gave me options. I went back inside and cleaned the kitchen, fast and sharp. I opened my phone and checked my messages. There was a text from my sister Cara. She asked if Ethan was gone. I said yes. She said I should take a breath and enjoy the quiet. She said I carried everyone and nobody carried me. I read that line twice. It felt good. It felt like permission. My mum Janice called a few minutes later. She asked if Ethan was already on his little trip. I said yes. She said men who travel always act like heroes. She said I should not let him act like he owned the family just because he paid some bills. I said Ethan did not own me. She said then I should act like it. I agreed with her because it was easy. It was easier than sitting with the small guilt under my ribs. Later, when I went upstairs to put away Ethan's forgotten phone charger, I saw his phone on the dresser. The screen lit up. I did not touch it at first. I just stared, like it might speak. Then I picked it up and glanced at the lock screen. A calendar reminder flashed. It said downtown 10:15 a.m. Under it, I saw another item that looked like it repeated. It said meeting, personal. My stomach tightened in a way I did not expect. I told myself it was nothing. I told myself it was probably a work meeting or a doctor appointment. But it bothered me that it was labeled personal. Ethan was always so direct. He did not hide things, not usually. I felt a hot little spark, like anger that wanted a job to do. I put the phone back down. I walked into the bathroom and looked at myself in the mirror. I told myself that if Ethan could have secrets, then I could too. I told myself I was not the only one with needs. I told myself respect follows results, and I had results. I kept our life running. I kept the kids happy. I kept the house from falling apart. What did Ethan do besides leave? In the afternoon, I drove to work to drop off a form I had forgotten in my desk. The office was quiet. The lights buzzed. It felt like a place where nobody could judge me. On my way out, I checked my phone again. A message preview popped up from Calvin Ross. He was a sales lead at my company, 34, always smooth. The preview said he hoped I was not bored tonight and that he could come by if I wanted. I stared at the words longer than I should have. I did not answer right away. I told myself I was being careful. I told myself I was just considering it. But my fingers hovered over the screen, and I could already feel my own grin forming, like I had won something before the game even started. I did not answer Calvin right away. I put my phone in my bag like it was hot. I walked to my car and sat there with the engine off. The parking lot was empty, and that made it feel like a secret space. I told myself I was not doing anything wrong yet. I told myself a message was just a message. At home, I moved through the house fast, like speed could protect me. I made the kids dinner. I checked homework. I cleaned the counter twice. I acted like a good wife on the outside. Inside, I kept hearing Calvin's words, like a small song I could not turn off. After the kids went to bed, I opened my phone again. Ethan had texted from his hotel. He asked if the kids slept okay. I said yes. He asked if I ate dinner. I said I grabbed something. He said he missed me. I wrote back that he should sleep because he had meetings. I told myself I was being supportive. I was really shutting a door. Calvin sent another message a few minutes later. He asked if I was up. He said he had a stressful day, and he did not want to be alone. I told myself he was being dramatic, like Ethan, but I still liked it. I liked being wanted. I wrote that I was tired and I had kids. He wrote that he understood and he could keep it simple. He said he could come by for a short talk. I stared at the screen. My thumb hovered. I thought of Ethan's neat suitcase and his careful voice. I thought of how he asked for a hug like a man asking permission for water. Then I thought of Calvin's confidence, like he was already sure of himself. I wrote back that tonight was not good. I added a smiley face, like that made it polite. Calvin answered that he could wait, but he hoped I was not like other good wives who never took anything for themselves. I felt my cheeks warm, like he had praised me and insulted me at the same time. I told myself he was only speaking truth. The next day, I went to work early. The office smelled like coffee and printer toner. I liked that smell because it meant order. I walked past the open-plan desks and smiled at people, like I carried no weight at all. That was my skill. I could wear a face and make people believe it. Selma Price saw me at my desk and asked why I looked so awake. I said I finally had the house to myself for a week. She asked if I missed Ethan. I said Ethan was fine, but the peace was better. She laughed and said men think they are the center of the home. I nodded. I liked the way that sounded, like I was a modern woman with a clear mind. Around 10, Calvin appeared near the HR area. He did not walk straight to me. He moved like he belonged everywhere. He asked how my morning was going. I said busy. He asked if I slept. I said not much. He said he could fix that, then he smiled like it was a joke. I smiled too, like I was innocent. He asked if we could grab coffee at lunch. I said maybe. He said he would text me the place. I told myself that was still normal. Coworkers got coffee all the time. I ignored the way my heart sped up. At 11:30, Ethan called. I watched the phone ring on my desk. I let it ring until it stopped. Then I texted him that I was in a meeting. I was not in a meeting. I was sitting in my chair, staring at my own reflection in the dark part of my monitor. He texted back that he just wanted to hear my voice for 1 minute. I wrote that my boss was nearby and I could not talk. I told myself it was true in a way. My boss was nearby in the office, and my real boss was my plan. I could not talk because talking would make me feel married. At lunch, I met Calvin at a cafe across the street. It had small tables and loud music, so nobody could hear anyone else. Calvin asked how long Ethan was gone. I said 5 days. He asked if I was lonely. I said I was tired of being the only adult at home. He said that sounded unfair. I nodded, like he had solved something. He asked what Ethan did for me, really. I said Ethan provided money and helped with the kids when he was home. Calvin asked if that was love or duty. I said it felt like duty most of the time. I did not say the part where Ethan used to rub my shoulders when I cried, and he stayed up with Mia when she was sick. That did not fit the story I needed. Calvin asked if Ethan ever made me feel seen. I said Ethan saw me like a schedule. Calvin said he saw me like a person. I wanted to believe that. It felt simple, and simple felt safe. Calvin asked if I ever thought about doing something for myself. I said I did not have time. He said time was a choice. He asked if Ethan would even notice if I stopped trying. I said Ethan noticed everything, but only when it helped him. I could hear how cruel my words were, but I kept going. I liked how Calvin watched me like I was brave. Back at the office, I went into a small conference room to work privately. I sat with my laptop open, but I did not type. I checked my phone. Ethan had sent a photo of his hotel desk with his laptop and a paper cup of coffee. He wrote that he wished I was there. I felt a thin wave of guilt, but I pushed it down. I told myself he was trying to make me feel sorry for him. I told myself I was not falling for it. A notification popped up from our shared family app. It said Ethan updated a folder title. I clicked without thinking. I saw a new label, Bank. Under it were Utilities and Household. My first thought was that he was being controlling again, organizing my life like I was a child. My second thought was that he was doing it without me. That made my stomach tighten. I told myself it was just planning for the trip. I told myself he always liked lists. Still, the word bank sat in my mind like a stone. Later that afternoon, Calvin texted me that he had fun at lunch. He said he liked how honest I was. He asked if he could see me after work, just for a little. He added that he knew a place near my neighborhood where nobody from the office would go. I stared at the message. I thought of Ethan's calm photo and his careful words. I thought of my mother telling me not to let a man own me. I thought of Selma laughing about good wives. Then I thought, very clearly, that I deserved to feel chosen. I told myself Ethan had left first, even if it was for work. I told myself I was only taking back what I had lost. So I wrote to Calvin that I would let him know, and I already knew I was going to. I left work a little early and told my team I had a family thing. That was true in a way. My family was the reason I felt trapped, and the reason I wanted to do something reckless. In the elevator, I checked my reflection in the dark doors. I looked normal. I looked like a woman going home to make dinner. Calvin texted that he was already near my street. He asked if I was sure. I said I was sure. I added that it needed to be quick and quiet. I wrote it like I was setting rules, like I was the responsible one. He answered that he liked how I handled things. That line landed in my chest like sugar. At the house, I moved fast. I checked on Noah and Mia. They were at my mum's place for the evening because Janice had offered to help while Ethan was away. She had said she knew how hard it was to parent alone. She had also said Ethan should feel guilty for leaving, even if it was work. I did not correct her. I let her words build my excuse. I walked through the rooms and made the house look calm. I picked up toys. I wiped the kitchen counter. I turned on a small lamp in the living room. The light made everything look soft and safe. I told myself I was just creating comfort. I did not say the real part out loud, which was that I did not want anything to look suspicious. When Calvin knocked, I did not open the door right away. I stood behind it and listened to my own breathing. I told myself I could still stop. Then I thought about Ethan's texts and his polite questions and the way he always waited for me to be kind. I felt a sharp irritation, like his goodness was a trap. I opened the door. Calvin stepped inside like he belonged there. He looked around and said the house was nice. He asked if Ethan worked hard for it. I said we both worked hard for it. Calvin smiled and said I should get more credit. I liked that. I liked him saying it so easily. He asked if I felt nervous. I said I felt annoyed that I had to feel nervous in my own home. I said it like I was making a point, like I was fighting a system. Calvin said he understood. He asked if Ethan ever made me feel guilty for wanting things. I said Ethan made me feel guilty just by looking disappointed. That was not fully fair, but it sounded good. I led Calvin away from the front windows, deeper into the house. I told myself I was protecting privacy. I was really hiding. We ended up near the bedroom doorway. I paused there. The bed was made the way Ethan liked it, tight and neat. It felt like a line on the floor. Calvin asked if I was okay. I said I was fine. He asked if I wanted to go somewhere else. I said no. I will not describe anything private. I will only say I crossed a line I knew I should not cross. I did it in the place that should have been safest for my marriage. While it happened, my mind ran like a machine. Part of me felt excited. Part of me felt angry. Part of me felt proud, like I was proving I could take what I wanted. I kept telling myself Ethan had pushed me there by leaving, by being distant, by not seeing me the right way. I repeated those thoughts like they were facts. After, Calvin acted casual. He asked if I wanted to meet again this week. I said we would see. He asked if Ethan ever checked cameras or anything. I said no, and I said it fast. That was the first time I felt a small fear. Not a moral fear, a practical fear. I imagined a device I had forgotten. I imagined a neighbor's camera. I imagined Ethan's calm face turning cold. Calvin left within an hour. At the door, he said he liked me. He said he liked that I was not scared. I answered that I was not scared because I knew what I wanted. I wanted that to be true. When the door closed behind him, the house got quiet in a heavy way. I stood in the hallway and listened. The quiet felt like it was watching me. I went straight to the bedroom and started cleaning without thinking. I changed linens, not because I felt shame, but because I wanted control. I opened a window. I sprayed something light that smelled like laundry. I told myself I was being smart. I told myself Ethan did not need to know because it would only hurt him. I said that like I was protecting him, not myself. Ethan called later that night. I watched the screen light up on the kitchen counter. My hands were wet from washing dishes that were already clean. I answered with a bright voice. He asked how the day went. I said busy. He asked if the kids missed him. I said they were fine. He asked if I sounded tired. I said I was just stressed. He said he wished he could help. I said he could help by not asking so many questions. He got quiet. He asked if I was mad at him. I said I was not mad, just overwhelmed. He said he was sorry. He said he would be home soon. I said, okay, and I made my voice soft like I was being forgiving. When I hung up, my stomach twisted, not because I felt guilty, because he had been kind, and kindness made my story harder to sell. The next evening, Selma texted that a group was going to a rooftop bar. She said I needed to feel alive while Ethan was gone. I agreed right away. Going out gave me a reason to look happy. It also gave me noise to hide behind. At the rooftop bar, the music was loud and the air was cold. The city lights made everything look like a movie. Selma asked if I felt free. I said I felt like myself again. She asked if Ethan called a lot. I said Ethan always called, like he needed updates. Selma rolled her eyes and said men hate not being in control. I nodded and sipped my drink. Calvin was there too, even though he acted like it was random. He stood near the edge with two people from sales. He looked at me and smiled like we had a private joke. I felt my face warm, but I did not look away. I wanted to feel powerful. Selma took photos. She said we should post because we looked good. I said sure. In one photo, Calvin's hand was near my shoulder, not fully on me, but close. I saw it on the screen and hesitated. Selma asked what was wrong. I said nothing. I told myself it was harmless. I told myself Ethan did not own the internet. I posted the photo with a short caption about girls' night. My phone buzzed with likes fast. That rush felt like proof that I was right to choose myself. Then, a few minutes later, a text came in from Ethan. He said he was proud of me for handling the week. He said he missed me and could not wait to sleep in our bed again. I stared at that line until the letters blurred. I told myself he was being dramatic. I told myself he was trying to pull me back in. Still, for the first time, I wondered if Ethan's calm was not weakness at all. It was like he was steady on purpose, like he was holding something back. I put my phone face down on the table and forced a smile at Selma, like nothing had changed. Ethan came home a day early. I was in the kitchen, cutting fruit for the kids, when I heard the front door open. For a second, my whole body went stiff. I told myself I was not scared. I told myself I had done nothing he could prove. Still, my hands shook, and I set the knife down too fast. He walked in with his suitcase and a calm face. He asked how my week was going. I said fine. He asked why I looked surprised. I said I was not surprised, just busy. He said his meetings ended early, and his flight changed. I said that was nice. I made my voice casual, like his timing did not matter. He kissed the kids and lifted Mia like he had never left. Noah asked why he was home. Ethan said he missed them and wanted to be back sooner. Noah smiled. Mia clung to his neck. I watched the scene and felt two things at once. One part of me felt relieved, because family pictures made me look normal. Another part of me felt angry, because he had returned without my permission. Ethan set his suitcase near the stairs. He looked around the house, in a slow way. He did not accuse. He did not raise his voice. That almost made it worse. He asked if anything happened while he was gone. I laughed and said nothing happened except the usual mess. He asked if I went out with friends. I said yes, because I had to stay sane. He said he hoped I had fun. His voice was neutral, like he was collecting data. He followed me into the hallway and asked if we could talk later, after the kids went to bed. I said we could, but I sounded annoyed on purpose. He asked why I sounded annoyed. I said he came home early and expected a parade. He said he did not expect anything, he just wanted to check in. I said he was always checking in, and it felt like monitoring. His eyes held mine for a beat, then he nodded once. He asked if I wanted him to make dinner. I said I already did it. He said okay, and started rinsing plates in the sink. He moved like a guest in his own house. I told myself he was doing it to make me look bad. I told myself he was building a case with his silence. That night, when the kids were asleep, Ethan asked if we were okay. I said we were fine. He asked why I kept saying fine, like it was a wall. I said I did not have energy for his emotions. He asked if I felt distant from him. I said he created the distance by traveling. He asked if I wanted him to travel less. I said I wanted him to stop acting like work was more important than me. He did not argue. He asked one small thing that made my stomach drop. He asked why the bedroom smelled like a different detergent. I said I had cleaned because the house was chaotic. He asked why the sheets were changed mid-week when he had left them fresh. I said I did laundry because I was a functioning adult. I made it sound like he was stupid for asking. Ethan nodded again. Then he asked if I was happy. I said happiness was not a fair question when I was carrying everything. He said he carried things too. I said he carried a suitcase and called it sacrifice. He went quiet after that. He said he did not want to fight. He said he just wanted honesty. I told him honesty was a weapon men used when they wanted women to confess. I said it like I was wise. The next evening, I planned a family dinner. I told myself it was about unity. It was really about witnesses. If Ethan tried to call me out, I wanted people around to make him behave. I invited my parents and Cara. Ethan's parents came too. Everyone met at a family restaurant with a long table and bright lights. At the table, I controlled the mood. I made jokes about Ethan's travel. I said he loved hotels more than home. Ethan smiled politely and asked me to pass the bread. I passed it too fast and said he could serve himself like a grown man. People laughed, and I felt the room tilt toward me. Janice asked Ethan why he was home early. Ethan said his meetings ended early. Janice said men always sneak back when they think something is going on. She laughed like it was funny. I laughed too, because it made Ethan look suspicious instead of me. Ethan looked at his plate and said nothing. Cara asked me if I had been lonely. I said I had been exhausted. I said Ethan did not understand emotional labor. Ethan asked what he could do better. I said he could start by not acting like a supervisor. Selma was not there, but her voice lived in my head, and I spoke like I was on a stage. Ethan's mother, Marilyn, stayed quiet. She watched the kids more than she watched us. Ethan's father, Gordon, asked Ethan how the trip went. Ethan said it went fine. His brother, Trent, asked if Ethan was sleeping enough. Ethan said yes. It all sounded normal, but the normal felt tight, like a shirt that did not fit. Halfway through dinner, Ethan asked me a simple question in front of everyone. He asked why I had posted a rooftop photo with a coworker's hand near my shoulder. My heart jumped. I smiled anyway. I said he was being jealous and embarrassing. I said it was a group photo and he was reading into it. Janice said Ethan was insecure. Cara said social media was not a crime. People nodded. The room gave me permission to be cruel. Ethan did not shout. He said he was not accusing me of anything. He was asking. I said his questions were the accusation. He asked if I could answer plainly. I said plainly I was allowed to have friends. I said he did not own my body or my time. I pushed that word own hard because it sounded serious. It made him look dangerous without him doing anything. Noah looked between us and asked why Dad was not smiling. I told Noah that Dad was tired and worried too much. Ethan said he was okay and asked Noah if he wanted dessert. Noah nodded, but his face stayed tense. Mia played with a napkin and did not understand, which almost made it worse. After dinner, Marilyn asked Ethan if he wanted to walk outside with the kids for a few minutes. Ethan said yes. They left the table together. For a moment, I saw the gap beside me, and it felt like a warning. My father Dale leaned toward me and asked what I was doing. I said I was defending myself. He said I looked like I was attacking. I told him he always sided with men. The next day, I went to the school pickup line. My car crept forward with other parents. I checked my phone too often. Ethan texted once to ask if Noah needed anything for a class project. I answered short and cold. Noah climbed into the back seat and buckled himself. He asked why Dad was using a new calendar on his phone. I asked what he meant. Noah said Dad told him there might be dad days and mum days, so nobody got confused. I laughed like it was cute. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. That night, Ethan did not come to our bed right away. I heard him move in the guest room. I heard a soft beep, like a phone recording starting. Then, I heard a drawer lock click, sharp and final, like he was closing something I could not open. I did not sleep much after that drawer click. I lay in our bed and stared at the ceiling like it was a screen showing my future. I told myself Ethan was being dramatic. I told myself he was trying to scare me into confessing. But the truth was simpler. He was quiet in a way that felt organized, not hurt. The next morning, I found him in the kitchen making oatmeal for the kids. He had already packed Noah's snack and cut Mia's fruit into small pieces. He did not look at me with anger. He looked at the clock, then at the lunch boxes, like time mattered more than feelings. That made me feel small, so I tried to make him bigger. He asked if I had slept. I said no, because he had been stomping around and being weird. He said he had tried to be quiet. I said he had failed. He asked what I meant by weird. I said he was acting like a stranger in his own house. He said he was trying to keep things calm for the kids. I said the kids were calm until he started doing this. He did not argue. He only asked if I could do school drop-off that morning. I said yes, but I made my voice sharp, like I was doing him a favor. Noah watched us and went quiet. Mia asked if Dad would come to her class, show and tell. Ethan said he would try. I almost rolled my eyes. He was acting like a perfect father, and it felt like a performance aimed at me. After drop-off, I drove to work and told myself I needed to regain control. If Ethan was collecting something, then I needed my own story ready. I texted Kara that Ethan was acting unstable and doing weird secret stuff. Kara asked what kind of secret stuff. I said I heard beeps and locks and it felt like he was planning to punish me. Kara wrote that men always plan punishment when they lose control. I liked that answer because it made me the victim. At my desk, I checked my phone too often. Calvin had not texted since the rooftop photo. That bothered me more than it should have. He had loved the thrill when it was easy. Now that there was risk, he was quiet. I told myself he was just busy. I told myself he still cared. I hated that my confidence depended on a man who was not even my husband. Around noon, Ethan sent a short message. He asked if we could talk that night after the kids slept. He said it would be quick. I wrote back that I was tired of talks. I added that he should stop acting like a therapist. He answered that he understood, and he would keep it practical. That word, practical, made my chest tighten. Ethan had never used that tone with me before. When I got home, the guest room door was closed. Ethan usually left it open. I walked past it slowly, like I was casual. I heard nothing inside. I told myself he was hiding something. I told myself it proved he was the dishonest one. Still, my eyes went to the door handle, and I noticed a small new scratch near the lock, like a key had turned there more than once. I tried a different approach. When Ethan came downstairs, I acted softer. I asked if he was okay. He said he was okay. I asked if he was mad at me. He said he was not going to shout or accuse. I said that sounded like a threat. He said it was not a threat. He said he wanted stability. I laughed and said stability was what people said when they wanted control. He asked if I could please stop using loaded words. I said he was the one loading the whole house with tension. He nodded once, like he was noting my answer. That nod made me want to scream, so I pushed harder. I said I felt lonely. I said I had been lonely for years. He asked when I first felt that way. I said it started when he began traveling more. He said he traveled to keep our finances steady. I said money did not hug me at night. He asked if I wanted couples counseling. I said counseling was for men who wanted to be told they were right. He asked what I wanted then. I said I wanted him to stop being emotionally cold. He asked what I meant by emotionally cold. I said he was always polite, always careful, like I was a coworker. He said he had tried to be gentle, because I seemed stressed. I said he treated me like a problem to manage. He said he was sorry it felt that way. He said he wanted to understand. I said understanding was not enough. I said I needed passion and attention, and to feel chosen. I said it like a demand, not a request. Ethan looked down at his hands. Then he asked me, very plainly, if I had been faithful. My heart jumped, but my face stayed steady. I asked why he would even say that. He said he was not accusing. He was asking. I said he was accusing and hiding behind asking. He asked again. I said he was paranoid. I said he was making stories because he felt guilty for leaving. I said the travel must have messed with his head. He stared at me for a moment. Then he said, "Okay." He did not sound convinced. He sounded finished. That scared me more than anger. The next day, I took the kids to the supermarket after work. Ethan met us there, which felt intentional. He did not hold my hand. He did not walk beside me. He pushed his own cart. He put only kids' items in it: fruit, yogurt, cereal, diapers. I filled my cart with household stuff and a few things I liked. At checkout, he stood in a different line. I asked what he was doing. He said he was paying for the children's needs. I said that was petty. He said it was clear. He said he did not want confusion. The cashier looked between us like she could sense something. I smiled at her and said Ethan was just stressed from travel. Ethan did not correct me. He did not argue. He just paid and walked out with the kids' bags. In the parking lot, I told him he was humiliating me. He said he was not trying to humiliate me. He said he was trying to be responsible. I said responsible was another word for cold. He said if I wanted warmth, I could stop throwing gasoline on us. I asked what gasoline. He said my words, my public jokes, my refusal to answer simple questions. That night, I called Selma and told her Ethan was acting like I was a criminal. Selma asked if I had done anything. I said of course not. I said Ethan was just insecure. Selma said men got insecure when women leveled up. I told her I had not leveled up. I told her I had just remembered who I was. She said I should post more and show him I was not scared. I liked that advice because it was loud. Then Calvin finally texted. He asked if everything was okay at home. He said he saw my face was tense at work. I wrote that Ethan was being weird and jealous. Calvin answered that jealous men could be dangerous. I stared at that word, dangerous, and felt a strange relief. If Ethan was dangerous, then I was justified. It did not matter that Ethan had not done anything unlawful or threatening. The label itself felt useful. Later, I walked past the guest room again. The door was slightly open this time. I saw Ethan at the desk with his laptop. A spreadsheet was open, rows and columns, no title I could see. There was a faint toner smell, like the printer had been used. He closed the laptop as soon as he noticed me. He did not slam it. He just closed it calmly, like it was normal. I asked what he was doing. He said he was organizing. I said organizing what? He said household things. I said that sounded like a lie. He said I was free to think what I wanted, but he was not going to argue. He picked up his mug and walked to the sink. I noticed he had a different mug than mine, and they sat on opposite sides of the counter like two flags. I followed him into the kitchen because I needed him to react. I needed him to raise his voice so I could point and say, "See, this is why I feel unsafe." I told him he was punishing me. He asked me to lower my voice because the kids were upstairs. I said he was using the kids as a shield. He said no, he was protecting them from us. I asked him if he loved me. He said love was not the question right now. That answer hit me like a door closing. I asked what the question was then. He said the question was what was real and what needed to be handled. I tried one last tactic. I said if he kept acting like this, I might leave. I said he would regret it. He looked at me, calm and tired, and he said he would not beg. He said he would not fight in circles. He said he would handle it properly, and he would do it the lawful way. In the office lobby, a server handed me papers. Coworkers stared. Ethan stood beside his brother and said he had already spoken to his lawyer. I said it was cruel. He said it was proper. The order said he had the house and the kids' schedule started today. My phone slipped, and I heard the clerk call our case now.